sorry, everyone. It is going to be audio only, and we will get this fixed before the next session.
Okay, so thank you, Sarah, and thank you everybody for joining in. As Sarah says, this is a learning curve, and we are learning not only this technology but also to deal with this new reality that hopefully won't last long. But in the meantime, it's here, so we need to learn how to make the best of it. The company continues to find ways to support employees, and part of that is this series of sessions. Also, we have different partnerships that are aimed to help everybody in the community, our employees and their families, to deal with these new circumstances. So we have posted on our galvamechanical.com our news. We have on that section, we have posted updates on different resources. There is a long list of resources that are available for everybody. Things that could help you regarding loans, where to find food, education. And now that we talk about education, we also have Ed Navigator, which is an additional partnership that we have for employees to reach out and have educational resources, especially now that many of our employees are at home with their kids, and we're in this new challenge of homeschooling. So we have, in our partnership with Ed Navigator, we have to our reach resources in terms of activities and curriculum and different resources that are out there specific for education that can help everybody who has kids to find things for your kids to do that are productive, that will release some of that pressure. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of that. Also, we continue our partnership with the Greater New Orleans Foundation. So Powell is virtually still available to help with different circumstances. Obviously, he's available via phone, email, and we are, trying to stay on top of this. The company is sending weekly communications from JP, our president, with information about the current circumstances and how we're dealing with this, what is our plan of action. So if you didn't get that email from, the email came from Janet and with the message from JP, but if you didn't get that, please let me know. You can do it through the chat feature on the Zoom, or you can send me an email or a text, and I'll make sure that you get that plan of action so you can have the up-to-date information. But I think everybody who we have an email of should have received that information to keep us up to date. I think that's it on my part. I don't know if you guys have any questions. You can send them through the chat feature, and I can try to answer while we're on the session, or I can send individual messages, text or email to answer questions that we didn't get to answer during the session.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Yvonne. And unfortunately, Powell is having difficulties with audio and video now, which he, has just shared in the chat box. I think I will go forward with my piece, which is to provide you with some tools for your Tuesday toolbox. Powell, I encourage you to continue trying to call in, or call in with with your computer, because I'd love for you to be able to wrap up our session with your update on community services. So thanks for doing that. And we will figure out these issues. So And then I just saw your post, Powell. I don't even see you on my dashboard, so I can't make you a host. I don't know. I'm not sure what the issue is. We're going to figure this out. But anyway, so if you could keep trying to sign in or call in, and I apologize for the issues. I'm going to move into my piece of talking with you guys about uh, our resilience program. And today is our first webinar online to begin giving you tools for your toolbox to build resilience in your life and to deal with the stress that is, certainly affecting all of us. Once again, I'm Sarah. I'm the owner and manager of Flourish Consulting, and I'm very pleased to partner with Gallo Mechanical to bring these helpful tools for you to use during this time of change. I'm not sure if you've ever participated in a stress management activity like this, and you might be expecting me to tell you what to do or tell you what you should do, or maybe you think I'll be giving some instructions, etc. But that's really not the way that it works best. Maybe you've seen the cartoon where the doctor and the patient are in the room together and the patient tells the doctor, hey, when I do this, it hurts. And then the doctor, quickly says, stop doing it. Well, I'm not going to be that doctor. And that's because, our mind just doesn't work that way. I'll give you an example of how our mind works under stress. I want to give you some instructions right now. And so here we go. Do not think of an elephant. Now, I'm quite sure that all of you just thought of an elephant, and it might have been a zoo elephant or a circus elephant or a wild elephant, but we just can't help it. Our mind is stubborn, and it's going to do even what we tell it not to do. And that's because our mind and our thoughts are a very important instinct that protects us. And but sometimes it goes into overdrive, and we have to do something that calms that stubborn mind. So what thoughts are bothering you now? You don't have to answer that, but just take a moment to think about it. And what can you do to find relief from that stress? That's what we're going to talk about today in our Tuesday's Toolbox. It's not unusual for us to think so much about things that are changing that we lose sleep at night, we don't eat well during the day, we become more irritable with folks around us. So if you find that any of these things are happening, you are so normal. This is exactly what stress can produce in our life. But I have a solution, I have a suggestion, and I'd like to invite you to try a simple exercise with me today. But first I'm going to demonstrate it. And then we'll take some time to practice it together. It's very simple. There's no sitting down with your legs crossed. There's no lying down with your eyes closed. It's just you, where you are, wherever you are, and stopping for a moment to notice everything around you. Let me show you how it's like normally when I do this for myself. But I don't usually talk out loud. I'm going to do it just to show you how it works. So right now, I'm feeling some tension and stress. I didn't want to have any technical difficulties today. And it's not all that easy to be a presenter or a public speaker. So sure, I'm not exactly calm right now, to be totally honest. So I'm hoping that this exercise is going to calm me a bit. Okay, so first I just decide I'm going to take this moment for myself, and I'm going to help myself feel better by noticing that, gee, the smell from my slow cooker is just delicious. There's a stew brewing, and I can just smell it. So nice right now. And I noticed that the temperature in my room is very comfortable. It's neither hot or cold. It's really just right for me. And I also noticed that it's springtime, and I can see the sun shining through my window. There's a breeze outside blowing the tree leaves. And you know, it's just very pleasant. I look over and I see a picture of my family, and that makes me happy. I have my feet on the floor while I'm sitting here in this chair at my table, and I notice that the floor feels really solid. It's supporting my feet. I feel kind of grounded with my feet on the floor, and I notice that my wooden chair, you know, it's not as comfortable as maybe a cushion, but it's, you know, the wood is smooth and varnished. So, you know, and I feel really well supported in my chair. And you know, I can hear my wall clock ticking in the background, and I can hear the ceiling fan spinning. So I'm just taking in all of those sounds and smells and feelings, and yeah, and honestly, I do feel a little bit more calm, and that was a good break for me, just to, you know, get grounded and you know, feel comfortable where I am. So in just these brief moments, I've not been thinking about anything else but where I am, and I'd like to guide you through this exercise. I'd like you to try it while we're in this session. So if you would, of course, we can't see you, so wherever you are at the moment, I would like you to notice the ground beneath your feet. Is it grass? Are you outdoors? Is it the floor? Is it carpet? If you're sitting, notice the material of the chair that you're in. Is it soft or is it wood? Is the material smooth or fuzzy? How well does the chair support you? What do you smell in the air? What do you hear in the room where you are? Or if you're outdoors, what sounds can you hear? And what do you feel? How is the temperature where you are? What do you see? Name it to yourself, not judging it, but just naming what you see. Okay, so that only took a few seconds. Do you feel a bit calmer now? I hope so, because this really works for me, and I wanted to share it with you. You can do this anywhere, and nobody will even know what you're thinking about. Another tool for stress management that I want to share with you today is taking deep breaths. We all know how to breathe. It's an automatic reflex. We breathe without thinking. However, under stress, our breath becomes more shallow, and it may speed up, causing, in extreme cases, hyperventilation and difficulty breathing. But the antidote to those feelings and to becoming more calm is to notice when you're under stress, and to practice a breathing technique that changes feelings of stress. So the first thing you'll do with this type of breathing is that I suggest that you put your hand over your stomach or your waist, and take a deep breath so that your stomach pushes out your hand while you inhale. Inhale deeply and count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now exhale to the count of 4, and you should feel your hand falling with your exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale again, pushing your hand out as far as you can, and hold it for the count of 4. Exhale to the count of 4. I'm going to wait a moment and let you try that alone without my counting. Thank you for participating. So usually taking 3 deep breaths using that technique where your stomach is pushing out, your shoulders are not rising. That's not the kind of deep breath you want to do. It needs to be the kind of breath where you're pushing out with your stomach, your abdomen, and then you let your breathing return to normal. And take a moment to check in with yourself about the level of stress that you're feeling. Did the deep breathing help? Did it help bring down that level of stress? Or do you want to repeat 3 deep breaths? There's no set rules about how many deep breaths you take, except that it needs to be the type of breath that pushes your belly out. Once you're used to this type of breathing, you won't have to hold your hand on your belly. You can just practice it on your own, and no one will even know. Thank you for joining me in this Tuesday's Toolbox for Managing Stress. If you have any comments or questions about the exercises I just shared with you, you can put them in the chat box or in the question and answer. And now I'm going to see if I don't think Powell was able to come back in. So Yvonne, would you like to, is there any last thoughts you'd like to share in today's toolbox?
Well, thank you for that exercise. Feeling better now. But I think, hopefully we can try this again next week and have a better rate of success in terms of technology. I think this is a very good step to keeping us close to each other, connected, informed, and feeling better, and also providing to our well-being and our families. So thank you for this time. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining in.
And Yvonne, I'm sorry I didn't mention, I have a poll that I'm going to launch right now. And if everyone could complete the poll before they sign off, that would be great. It's anonymous, and it just gives us some feedback about today's session. But thank you so much, Yvonne, for inviting me today. And we'll see everybody again next Tuesday.